So, untuk di subtopik, kita akan berkenalan dengan Auditor General. So, siapa Auditor General? So, Auditor General is appointed by the YDPA on the advice of Prime Minister after the consultation with the Conference of Rulers. So, basically, siapa yang menanti Auditor General adalah YDPA atas nasihat Perdana Menteri. So, he is eligible but not for any other appointment in the service of the federal or state. So, Auditor General may at any time resign but shall not be removed from the office except on the like ground. So, his remuneration is provided by the Parliament and charged on the consolidated fund. So, the terms and conditions of the service of Auditor General shall be determined by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong subjected to the provision of federal law atau kita kata federal constitution lah. Moving on, kita nak tengok the role of Auditor General according to Section 5, Subsection 1 in Audit Act 1957. So, the role of Auditor General is to examine, to inquire and also to audit the following. The first one, the accounts of the Federation and also the states. Number 2, the accounts of any separate fund established in a state or federal territory under Article 19(7) Subsection 3 in Federal Constitution. Number 3, the role of AG is to examine, inquire and audit the accounts of any public authority or body so provided by the law where it is not provided by law at request of the authority with the consent of the MOF and must be notified in the Gazette. Next, the role of AG to examine, inquire and audit the accounts of any other body including a company that registered under the Company Act in the receipt of public grant or loan. So basically any orang kata apa public listed that has been registered with Bursa Malaysia yang berhad. So company yang ada nama berhad tu semua listed in public listed in Bursa Malaysia. And last but not least, the role of AG is to examine, inquire and audit the accounts of any other public authority upon the request of MOF and also the interest of public. Mungkin ada certain accounts yang perlu disemak tapi dengan orang kata apa, dengan keizinan daripada ataupun kita kata dengan request daripada Ministry of Finance, bertujuan untuk kepentingan rakyat jugalah semak. So basically, apakah nature and also scope of audit work? So nature and scope of the Auditor General include ascertaining and also ensuring whether the first one, all the reasonable precautions have been taken to safeguard the collection and also custody of the public money. True. Number 2, the payment were made in according with the proper authority, properly charged and supported by the sufficient vouchers and proof of payment. Maksudnya comply ke tak comply. Number 3, due care has been taken into account to make sure the proper use, control, maintenance and also disposal of all public stores. Next, all accounts and other records have been and are properly faithfully maintained. Maksudnya betul-betul orang kata apa, betul-betul jujur dan amanah lah. Segala transaksi tu perlu direkodkan. And monies have been applied accordingly for which they were appropriated or authorized and the related activity have been managed in efficient manner due to regards for the economy and also avoidance of wastage, untuk elakkan segala pembaziran. So kita kata sumber kerajaan ni sangat penting, tak boleh simply nak kerajaan tak boleh simply membelanjakan sembah renono sebab itu adalah duit rakyat. And last but not least, the nature and scope of audit work is to ascertaining and ensure whether the provision of the Federal Constitution and also Financial Procedure Act 1957 and any other written law have been complied with. So maksudnya tak ada pencanggahan lah dalam Federal Constitution, dalam Financial Procedure Act, dalam orang kata apa Audit Act, tak ada, sebab orang kata apa tak ada provision yang bercanggah. So itu juga merupakan sebahagian orang kata apa nature and juga scope of Auditor General. So apakah bidang kuasa Auditor General? So according to Section 7 in Audit Act 1957 stated that the Auditor General has these following powers. So dia ada 1, 2, 3, 4. The first one, Auditor General may call upon any person for explanation and information. So, if Auditor General find out that there are irregularities in the financial statements ataupun dalam sistem recorded transaction, so AG dia ada kuasa untuk panggil any person to orang kata apa, to explain lah why is this happen. Next, he has access to all records, vouchers, document, cash, stamps, securities, and also property subject to his audit. Next, he has power to delegate his power by authorizing any person that he deems competent to conduct an audit on his behalf. So, maksudnya dia boleh juga orang kata apa, melantik ataupun memanggil yang orang dia percaya, yang orang kata yang berkemampuan untuk buat audit bagi pihak dia. So basically macam ini kes kalau Auditor General tu dia ada dekat luar negara ataupun dia jatuh sakit lah. And last but not least, the power of Auditor General is to obtain the advice of a law office upon on any legal matter. So basically orang auditor ni dia tak tahu tentang, dia bukan tak tahulah, dia mungkin dia kurang mahir tentang federal constitution. Therefore they need to he or she need to call out the legal officer to make him more understanding lah about legal matters. Sebab audit ni dia hanya tahu pasal Audit Act, pasal Financial Procedure Act yang berkait rapat dengan dia punya nature, dengan dia punya job scope sahaja. So kalau macam Federal Constitution ke, macam Company Act ke, atas syarikat, dia akan panggil legal officer yang betul-betul mahir, yang betul-betul kompeten tentang bidang tersebut. So kita nak tengok apakah yang orang kata apa kandungan dalam annual report yang dibuat oleh Auditor General. So basically untuk slide ni dia akan tengoklah what are the common weaknesses, apakah yang orang kata apa, kelemahan-kelemahan yang selalu dilakukan lah, ataupun kita katakan kelemahan-kelemahan yang telah Auditor General ni kenal pasti kalau dalam kalau terima audit general report. The first one is overspending, terlebih belanja. So this is very orang kata common weaknesses identified. Number 2, underspending, terkurang belanja. A number of agency had not spent the amount that has been allocated, such a waste. Number 3, additional spending. Allahu Akbar, ada pembelanjaan tambahan rupanya yang tak ada dalam bajet, tiba-tiba ada. So a number of agency had applied for additional estimates from the parliament. Number 4, delay in payment for supplies and goods. Ya Allah, payment for previous years were made. Contohnya macam contoh saya dah bagi dah untuk minggu lepas kan, yang public accounting tu. Untuk sebuah jabatan ABC, dia nak cat bangunan jabatan dia. Dia panggil lah kedai cat ni. Lepas tu kedai cat ni bagi invoice tapi dia tak bayar-bayar. So bayaran tu perlu dibuat untuk tahun depan. So ada delay in payments lah for supplies and good. Not good actually this is not very ethical sebab you dah ada duit. Next, stores and accounting asset not properly managed. Mungkin tak ada orang kata apa, tak ada update, tak ada orang kata apa, tak ada follow up dengan dengan bahagian cukai, percukaian. Next, internal control not sufficient where it concern tax collections. Again macam mana boleh terlepas cukai ataupun tak ada orang kata apa, tak buat tax assessment. Next, management systems toward development project was weak due to the poor maintenance of vote bookkeeping. Again, mungkin sesuatu projek tu dia tak boleh, orang kata apa, bukanlah tak boleh, sistem pengurusan dia kurang efektif, menyebabkan segala butir transaksi, detail apa semua bercampur-campur, kejap sana, kejap sini. And last but not least, failure of the warrant holder to submit complete monthly expenditure returns to the relevant officer. Ini biasanya kegagalan seseorang pemegang warrant lah. Contoh macam tender ke, kota ke, projek ke, gagal untuk dikemukakan perbelanjaan setiap bulan kepada pegawai yang bertanggungjawab lah. Yelah, bila you gagal submit you punya, orang kata apa, you punya perbelanjaan bulanan, so kat situ dia dah menyusahkan pihak accounting tau sebenarnya, sebab accounting ni kerja dia kena rekod kan. So bila buat audit nanti, kalau ada orang kata apa, kalau ada shortage ataupun ada surplus, bila tak jumpa this kind of document, so habislah. Orang tend to be like macam, oh, where the money goes actually, tak tahu, tak ada bukti. So these are the common weaknesses that has been identified in the Auditor General report lah. Moving on, kita nak tengok apa itu PAC, Public Accounts Committee. So, I believe you all dah pernah dengar dah Public Accounts Committee ni waktu you semester 1 dalam subjek PAD370. So, PAC is one of the Parliament Committee with the responsibility of being the parliamentary watchdog over public money. So, it comprises between 6 to 14 members that has been drawn from the major parties that represent in the Parliament. So, this committee is empowered by number 1, Standing Order 77 subsection 5 of the Standing Ordinance, and number 2, section 10 of the House of Parliament Ordinance 1951. So the Standing Order provides that the Public Accounts Committee with the power and responsibility as followed. The first one, PAC punya power and responsibility is on the accounts of the federal government and the appropriation of the sum granted by the parliament in order to meet with the public expenditure. Number 2, PAC with the power to and responsibility on the following accounts of public authority or other body that administer public funds as may be laid before the house ataupun parliament. And then reports of the Auditor General laid before the House ataupun Parliament, and such other matters as the committee may think fit or which may be referred to the committee by the Parliament. So, what are the key function of PAC? So, apa fungsi PAC ni? The first one, untuk pastikan all the money spent are in according with the purpose and also program as approved in the budget. Number 2, to monitor that the public official ataupun public servant exercise the spending of money in the most effective and efficient manner. Number 3, the function of PAC is to maintain the high standard of accountability. And next, to assist the House of Representatives in inquiring into financial matters of the government. And PAC also have the power ataupun have the function to examine the auditor reports and examine the individual program achieve its objective or not. So, inilah kita kata dengan tugas-tugas PAC. So, PAC ni biasa kalau you tengok dekat dalam parlimen yang mempertikaikan apa tu semua kan, MP tu mempertikaikan. So dalam parlimen tu juga PAC dia akan jadi watchdog lah. Dia akan jadi orang kata apa, silent watcher. Dia akan tengok wakil rakyat ni betul ke kan, dia punya program ni betul ke, belanja dia banyak ni sekian. So dia akan orang kata apa, dia akan menjalankan dia punya tanggungjawab ketika parlimen dilangsungkan. So last topic ataupun kita kata last subtopic, kita nak kenal dengan Audit Act 1957. So dalam Audit Act ni dia ada sentuh tentang the appointment of Auditor General, tadi kita dah sebut. And then ada what are the powers of Auditor General, and last but not least dia nak dalam Audit Act juga ada sentuh tentang the duties of Audit General and also the auditors. So, untuk last topik kita akan berkenal-kenalan sikit dengan Audit Act 1957. So, dekat sini kita nak tengok appointment of Auditor General. Kita nak tengok what are the powers of Auditor General. And last but not least, what are the duties of the Auditor General lah according to Audit Act. So, kita akan go through lah. The first one, kita dah tahu dah. Auditor General has been appointed by the YDPA on the advice of Prime Ministers. And then, what are the powers of Auditor General is to obtain the information and also explanation kan. And so unimpeded access to all records or data. And last but not least, what are the duties of Auditor General? So according to Audit Act 1957, dia ada 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So first one is to examine and acquire into the audit accounts of the accounting officers, to examine if the objective of the program or project have been achieved or not, to make sure that all form of protective means towards asset, to maintain all records and accounts, and last but not least, to give review on the national monetary statement. So basically, orang kata apa kat sini, tiada percanggahan tentang fungsi, pelantikan dan juga bidang kuasa Auditor General dalam Federal Constitution dan juga dalam Audit Act. So sama sahaja. So thank you so much. Have a nice day.